Hello everyone and welcome to my first video on my new YouTube channel. I'm Andy McDonald, a petrophysicist within the oil and gas industry. You may have seen my articles on LinkedIn showing how to use Python to explore contents of LAS files and also how to generate visualizations such as log plots, cross plots and histograms of the data. So in today's video we're going to explore a particular file format called LAS or log ASCII Standard. And these files are used to store geological, geophysical and petrophysical measurements. A LAS file is a structured file format or a structured ASCII file format that contains multiple sections and well log measurements. And it was a file format that was developed by the Canadian Well Logging Society in the 1990s. And since then there are now 3 different versions of LAS. Version 1, 2 and 3, with 2.0 being the most common version that we have today. So let's hop over to the computer and see what a LAS file is and what is actually contained within them in the different sections as well as the data. Here we have an example of a LAS file, and we can see that it's split into multiple sections which are denoted by the tilde character. We have the tilde version, well, parameter, curve and ASCII. The version section contains information about the version number of the LAS file. We then have a wrap option. Is the data all in one line per depth step, or are there multiple lines per depth step? We then have the well information block, which gives information about the start and stop depths of the well or the file, the step that the data has been recorded at, and the value for the nulls if they're present within the file. Most commonly these are -999.25. We then have information about the well, the field, the wellbore name, the country where the well is located, and the company. Within the parameter section we have multiple parameters such as the remarks or comments that are associated with this file. We also have additional QC comments within this one from the Equinor dataset. We then have the curve information block, which gives information about the individual curves stored within the file. Here we have DEPT representing depth, and then it's followed by a full stop and then the letter M, which is the units of measurement for this particular curve. In this case it is meters. And you can see below we've got the AC curve, or our acoustic compressional, which is measured in microseconds per foot, and we can carry that on down the rest of the list. We then have the API code, which is commonly blank, not seen a particular use for this API code, but is included as part of the LAS file. And then over on the right we have the curve number and the actual description of the curve. So we have depth, we have compressional slowness, caliper, bulk density, gamma ray, neutron porosity, deep resistivity and medium resistivity, all of which are commonly logged curves. In the next section, this is our main section where we have the data. We can see on the left we have our depth column, and all these columns are ordered in the same order as the list here for the mnemonics. We have our null values, which is -999.25, and this is probably one of the most common values for nulls. However, it can be -999 or -99999 depending on the provider of the data. We then have other columns here that have some values. Initially we don't know which column this is, but we can go to the list and we can see that it's the 4th column from the right, and our values are associated with the gamma ray. Then we have our neutron, and then our deep and medium resistivity curves over here. We can carry on and scroll down through this list, and we can see that the numbers will change. However, it can be very difficult to understand what's actually happening, especially if you have a large amount of curves and certainly a large amount of depth levels within the file. So we will now jump over to Jupyter Notebooks and see how to load this LAS file in and start to explore and analyze the data contained within it. Here we are within our Jupyter Notebook, and you will find a link down in the description of how to access this through my GitHub repository. And what we will do now is we'll go through the different steps in this, and if you want you can use the file within the repository and go through it in your own time. So the first thing that we're going to do is actually load in our data and also check it. So for this particular exercise we're going to be using 3 libraries. We will be using Pandas, which is to store our data within data frames. We will be using matplotlib.pyplot to plot our data, and we will also be using a specialized library called LASIO or LASIO. And with this library it allows us to read in LAS files and do multiple operations on them and also export them. So with Jupyter Notebooks, what we do is we type code within cells, and then we can run each of these cells in sequence, and we can see the results. We can then revisit some of the older cells and rerun them, or change certain parameters, and then rerun our code again. In our first cell, again, we do Shift and Enter, and we're importing these specific libraries, and you'll notice that in the in section here, we have a star or an asterisk, and that just means that that cell is running. Once it is complete, it will change to a number, and that number will change depending on the number of times that the cells have been run within the notebook. So now that we've got the libraries installed, we can then read our data, which is stored within a subdirectory called data, and this is done using LASIO.READ, and we're assigning that to a variable called las. So once that is done, we can then look through the different sections within that las file that we saw in the previous clip. And here we have the version, the well information, the curves, the parameter, and other information. If we want to look at a particular section within a las file, we can call upon las.sections and then pass in one of these keys. So if we look at the version, for example, we can see that we have two rows within that section, our version and our wrap. And if we go through the returned dictionary, or the returned item, we can see what the mnemonic is, what the units are, what the value is for that. So for our version, it is set to 2.0, and we also have the description. So now that the file has been loaded, we can then begin to investigate the content. And mostly what we're interested in is the curves and the mnemonics and the values associated with those mnemonics. So I've created a simple for loop here where we're going to look through each item within the well section, and we're going to print out the description, the mnemonic, and its value. If I press Shift Enter with this, we then get back a text block. We can see that we've got our top depth, our bottom depth, our depth increment, our null value, etc. There is a bit of formatting issues here, but that can be tidied up by editing this print statement by adding tabs or spaces to make sure everything is consistent. So if we wanted to change one of these entries, for example country, so country is currently set to NOR, which is an abbreviation for Norway, but maybe we want to spell that out and say Norway. So we can select it by going to las.sections, and then within that well section we're going to attempt to edit this mnemonic here called country, or CTRY, and we're going to make that equal to Norway. So if I Shift Enter with this one again, we can see that it's run, but we don't have any feedback yet. So we can rerun our previous code and view the descriptions and the mnemonic. And we can see that the country mnemonic, or the country parameter, has been updated to Norway. We can also call upon sections in a slightly different way. So if we wanted to obtain the well name, we can do las.well and then grab the well mnemonic and then its associated value. And we can see that we've got 15/9-19. Which is one of the Volve wells. Maybe we want to see what mnemonics are stored within here. And we can do that again with a simple for loop. And we'll look through something called las.curves. And we can see that we're printing out the mnemonics that are stored within that file. But just by looking at those mnemonics, we might not know what they stand for. Or we can expand our function a little bit, and we can print out the mnemonic, its units, and its description. And I've also included here a little counter, which will count the total number of curves within that file. And if we scroll down to this section, we can see that we've got our curve names, our units, and the associated description. So this gives us a better idea of what curves are stored within this file. In the situation where we don't want a particular curve within a file, we can actually delete a curve from the file using the delete curve method. And we just call this by las.deleteCurve, and then we pass in the required mnemonic. So here I'm going to delete the medium resistivity from our file. And then if I run the code again, go through the individual mnemonics within that file, we can see that our med is now removed, and that we now have 7 curves present within this file. Once we've done our editing on the file, we can export that file to a new las file, just simply by using las.write. So when working with data, certainly within Python, we often want to convert our data to a data frame, and this allows us to do many operations such as calculating new curves or new columns, and also deleting them, and also carrying out machine learning. Many machine learning algorithms require the data in a certain format, whether that's a NumPy array or as a Pandas data frame, and then they take that data and then they can work with it. We can simply convert our data frame by just calling upon las.df and then the 2 brackets. At first we don't see any result, but what we can call upon is the .head function, and this generates a table view of the header and the first 5 rows within the data frame. So we can see our individual curves and also our depth values. And you'll notice that our null values of minus 999.25 have now been converted to NaN, which is not a number. And this is Python's way of denoting missing values. To find out some more information about the data, we can call upon the .info and .describe methods, and these give us more information, such as the statistics, which gives us the mean, standard deviation, minimum, and the maximum, and the percentiles of the data values. And here we can see if we've got any erroneous values. So for example, if we look at our density, we've got a minimum of 1.94 and a maximum of 3.0, which is slightly on the high side, but still within an acceptable range. Our info section provides us information about how many null or non-null values are present within each of the individual columns of the data frame. And we can see that our GR column that has about 28,117 non-null values, which is probably our most complete curve within this data set. We then have other curves such as AC and caliper, which only have around about 7,000 non-null values. So we can have a quick look at our data by just simply calling some plot function. So if I call well.plot, what we get back is a plot with all of the curves within the data frame. And this is not very useful, but it allows us quickly to see the extent of the data and its range. So we can see that we've got the red curve, which is our gamma ray curve, which covers the entire well range. And then we have some other curves which are broken up within this data set. If we want to look at a particular curve, such as gamma ray or the density, we can call upon y is equal to either gr or den. And we can see that we've got our data here for our gamma ray, and it's scaled appropriately, so 0 to 300. And we can also see our density. And again, the depth range updates with that, and also the min and max values. So that value of 3.0 that we highlighted earlier in the describe function could be an erroneous value. See, we have a spike here, and we also have a spike here. So further investigation would need to be done to identify whether these are real outliers or whether it is real data. So that concludes this short tutorial on how to load and explore LAS files using Python and Jupyter notebooks. We have seen how to load LAS files and explore their contents, as well as deleting curves from a LAS file and re-exporting it. We have also seen how to convert a LAS file to a Pandas data frame, which can then be used for advanced machine learning and interpretation. I hope this video has been useful to you. You can find the link to the notebook in the description below. If you've enjoyed this content and want to see more, click on that subscribe button down below, and also give it a thumbs up. So until next time, bye for now.